What up, nerds? Bujo Head Jody here. I have been bullet journaling since 2017, and I would like to share my 2022 September weekly spreads with you. So we've got our monthlies all set up. Now for these weeklies, I really wanted to compress them. I didn't want to take up a lot of space. And my weeklies / dailies are mostly just lists of my habits and the tasks that I want to get done. Appointments, bills that are due, that kind of thing. So I'm actually going to try to get in 2 weeks on each 2-page spread. So the top there, because this month starts on a Thursday, we've got one section for like weekly information, and then it will continue on the right-handed page right here with the last 4 days of the week. So then the bottom section will be the very next week with a full week, starting with that habits and tasks for the week section, then having the next 3 days, and concluding with the last 4 days of the week on the right-handed page. So I did count this all out, basically just filling up the entire page with these gray highlighted lines. You'll see I do double highlights. I highlight 2 rows in a row because those are the headers. So we'll have the top header will have the day of the week, and the bottom header will have the date. Now I do still have a little bit of space right there for some doodles. I think this is the only part of the weekly spreads that are not just these gray lines. So the spread itself doesn't look very exciting, but I will be using the brighter colors to actually write all my tasks and my habits and that kind of stuff down. So it ends up looking really cool for me, but you guys are just gonna see what I write everything into. So the top portion always has my habits, bottom has my tasks. I've counted out the number of rows for all the habits I want to incorporate this month. I've got it pretty much down to the same general habits. Sometimes I'll mix it up a little bit or even just change the order based on how I want to sort of organize my days. So I've got the dates there, and then the first full week, the days of the week written out. I'm doing this all in this gray fine liner. And then my one little bit of cute doodles. We're going back to this theme of sort of like schoolwork and the beginning of school, even though I'm many years outside of school, with these little doodles of erasers and paper airplanes. It's sort of a little fun little graphic, and they'll go on top of these circles. So these color fine liners are the ones I'm going to use to fill out these spreads. So it'll be these cool blues and reds, and they'll look really good. It'll also help sort of highlight, okay, this is an important task. I want to put this in a slightly different color. to sort of make it pop off the page a little bit more. A lot of my spreads, I'll make the spreads very colorful, and then I'll just fill it in with a black pen. And so sometimes it's tough to make the important thing look important, which is doing the actual task. So to make the task pop, sometimes it's nice to put it in a fun color. So that is the first spread. Now there are 3 more weeks. So what we're going to do is the next 2 are going to be on this full spread. So we're going to get like full wall-to-wall weekly spread with 2 weeks on it. And then for the last week, which actually only goes through to Friday, we're going to have the first half of the week on the top and then the last 2 days on the bottom section. So we'll get that in on one page. We'll start October on the next page. The one thing about this is some of my mild liners, which are all the markers that I'm using, that I pretty much always use, are running out. So sometimes I'll get halfway through a spread like this and be like, oh no, I hope this marker makes it to the rest of this spread. Like, I've already committed to using this light gray color, and I really like it, and I like the aesthetic, and I like how simple and clean it looks. But you'll see it get lighter and lighter and lighter throughout these weeks. You'll see here I'm trying to fill these in, and actually on camera it actually looks darker than it does in real life. So like in real life, the middle section of these highlighted lines pretty much non-existent. So this is me just hoping and praying that this keeps going. No such problem with the fine liners yet. I'm sure they will run out at some point. One advantage of having these very uniform weekly spreads is that a lot of times I don't even need to mark everything out. I just mark everything out once, and then I just sort of compare to previous spreads, or I have like one, number that I need to count out. So you saw just before this, I was counting out the width of each of the columns. It was just like one simple number. It's pretty similar for most spreads where I put 1 week across 2 pages, because I'm going to break that up into 8 different sections. So depending on whether or not I have like an extra space in between each day or not, it'll just depend. But it'll be pretty similar numbers. So this will be the last week. It's only the 5 days, and the one extra section for the weekly habits and tasks. Another advantage of this sort of all-in-one spread, very, very simple lists, is that it's super fast. You can see just from the timestamps of this video, it went real quick, and pretty minimal prep too, like not a lot, especially compared to some other spreads I've done, which even past the large amounts of time actually putting it together, there's a lot of sort of prep that goes along with it too. So definitely recommend this for a busier month, or one that you just don't want to spend a whole lot of time on your weekly spreads. So final couple of days, do the outline. So when I do on this side of the page, I can actually see a little bit of ghosting, so that I don't need to count out those spaces. We have the last 5 days of the week, of the month, and their dates. And then have a little bit of space for a couple more doodles, just to fill it up. So we've got our eraser. And then our paper airplane. And that is pretty much it. Those are the weekly spreads for September. Thanks a lot. Bye.